You know, if you took away Beerus's god power for like literally 5 minutes, Piccolo would absolutely embarrass him in a fight. Think about it. Beerus is like easily the laziest character in Dragon Ball history, while Piccolo is a tactical psycho who treats every match like it's a high stakes chess bout he must win. We always argue about power levels, transformations, these other things, but if you actually look at how these two fighters for today's video, Piccolo and Beerus, handled their battlefield, tactical minds, and how they approach battling, war, fighting, whatever you want to break it down to, it's really a completely different story. We'll go ahead and start off with the destroyer of Universe 7, that is Lord Beerus. And let's be real, right? Beerus fights like a guy who's completely miserable because he just woke up from a nap, whether it's a 200-year nap, a 100-year nap, a 1,000-year nap. He is a guy that's waking up annoyed to some extent, which is crazy to think. He doesn't need warm up, he doesn't need any effort. You'll just see Beerus standing there, hands behind his back, dodging universe-busting attacks, just tilting his head to the side maybe by an inch or so. His whole style is built on doing the absolute bare minimum to get his job done. He doesn't have to throw massive flashy combos. He's going to let you burn through all your stamina and then just proceed to end the fight whenever he wants to by a casual slap or maybe a flick to your forehead, because to Beerus, combat is not some honorable martial arts journey. It's just an annoying chore that he wants to finish so he can either get back to his nap or get back to his instant ramen or whatever Whis has brought for him, right? Beerus's mindset is pure, it's toxic arrogance at its highest, and the worst part about it is he actually has the power to back it up. You can't trash talk the guy, you can't scare him, you can't bait him into a trap. And if you somehow manage to land a lucky hit, Beerus doesn't have to panic. He's cold, he's gonna give you that pissed off look on his face, and then the vibe is instantly turned into a murder scene more or less, because again, he doesn't care about getting stronger. He doesn't care about fair play. He doesn't have to care about protecting anyone, because Beerus's only job is to destroy. It's in his job description, the god of destruction. So that complete lack of empathy makes him terrifying. You can't exploit any of his emotions because he doesn't really have any in the ring. He will delete you from existence without a second thought, and that's as close and as clean as it gets, right? So inside that story, Beerus basically exists to be the ultimate reality check for characters like Goku and Vegeta in the series, because every single time Goku and Vegeta feel like they've hit their peak, Beerus shows up just to remind them of really how total, you know what I mean? They're total amateurs. Beerus shows up and he's like, okay, you guys have been doing this for maybe 80 years, 100 years, give or take. I've been doing this for millions and millions and millions of years. You might as well be newborn fetuses at this point. And Beerus's role is not to be a hero. It's not to be the villain, but it is to be the unbeatable force of nature that resets the stakes. The moment Beerus walks into a scene, the goal immediately stops being, well, how do we win? And really it's about how do we survive? Because if Beerus wants to destroy planet Earth, still to this day, he can. He can do it with barely using any ounce of his strength. And again, this is how a literal god, especially a god of destruction, relies on doing his job. It's lazy, it's overwhelming power. But when you flip the script there for a second, and then you look at the guy on the opposite side of the fence here, who is Piccolo, who survives purely on his brain. Well, Piccolo is the cold, calculating military general who figures out how to beat you 3 weeks prior to you even having your fight. Piccolo's not going to waste a single ounce of energy either. He's not going to flash his power. He's not going to showboat for the crowd. When Piccolo gets into his stance, he's instantly tracking everything you're doing. Your footwork, your breathing pattern, how exactly long it takes you to charge an attack or not charge an attack. His style is built entirely on patience and counterpunching. He will literally let you beat him, absorb all that physical damage just to hit you in one of your blind spots, because remember, as a Namekian, he has self-regeneration. He can absorb massive impacts. He can regenerate limbs he loses. You know what I mean? Like, his behavior is pure. It's unshakable discipline when you look at the two characters, because you will never see Piccolo lose his temper. You'll never see him panic. You'll never see his ego really get in the way of anything, especially when it comes to a win nowadays. Even when Piccolo knows he's completely outclassed, his brain is still actively running scenarios to find a work around it. He knows his limitations, and he knows how he can play incredibly dirty if he has to, using clones, using stretchy arms, right, masking his energy to set up a brutal ambush. It is what I've always loved about Piccolo's character in the series, and I think sometimes some fans just, oh, he's an Namekian, he's just naturally that way. I think Piccolo is different even from the traditional Namekian. He's not looking for a fight as a fun hobby. To him, to Piccolo, combat is literal life or death, chess match essentially, always happening. where losing means everyone dies, so he approaches every exchange with absolute deadly seriousness. So when you look at that, just to conclude here, inside the story with Piccolo and Beerus, Piccolo functions to me as the more tactical spine of the entire Dragon Ball universe, because while the Saiyans are busy screaming and powering up and breaking new power limits, Piccolo is technically the only one still organizing a true defense, figuring out the enemy's hidden gimmick. He's always showing up on screen saying something about the new enemy that everyone else has yet to discern yet, or sometimes he's saying the absolute obvious thing. But Piccolo's role is to be the reliable anchor who stops everyone from doing something incredibly stupid. So when a seemingly invincible villain shows up with a crazy ability, Piccolo is always going to be that character to dissect exactly how his power works and maybe a plan that the Z Fighters and gang can use in order to exploit the weakness of this new threat to, I'm going to say, Mother Earth. So Piccolo to me is the ultimate proof that raw power doesn't mean anything if you don't actually have tactical intelligence to back it up. So in our final comparison today, what matters more, power, skill, or intelligence? These questions you've seen on screen earlier. Who wins without transformations between these two? Which character is more complete? And last but not least, did Dragon Ball get Piccolo more right? Did they get Beerus more right? Did they hit it on the nail? As we talk about the late great Akira Toriyama, which character, we know Piccolo was his favorite, so there might be a little bit of bias there, but to your personal opinion, who do you think he executed perfectly? Because I think this is probably as close to 50-50 as possible. Beerus does exactly what he's supposed to do, and even still, there's opportunities for him to do more. Piccolo, on the other hand, as an Namekian, I don't know if you say there's anything more to him, I should say, to achieve in the show based off of what he's shown us tactically, what he's shown us conceptually. Give me your thoughts. This is Kyle Ken Striker.